I lost all vision, all hearing. My heart, the only thing I could hear was my heart and my body. It was literally, I was up for like a second. I didn't have enough blood in my body. And so as soon as I sat down, somebody was also brushing my teeth at this time. It's kind of chaotic. I was crying, and I remember I couldn't hear and I couldn't see, but I was squeezing my mom and I was telling her, please don't leave, please don't leave. Hey guys, welcome in. I am going to share something that I have actually never talked about before in a public setting. I, told my friends, my family knows what happened, but I've never really shared this in such a public way. I am in a different space today, as you can tell. I really wanted more light than I was getting today in my usual setting, so I decided to sit here. This is such a vulnerable thing for me to share, but because it has been 4 years now, I think I want to talk about it and really share with people how hard it was. This is super vulnerable, and I think the reason why I feel ready is because it's been 4 years, and I feel like people should know how hard it is. People should know the real. Okay, so now that we're all comfortable, I remember before I had my surgery, I did a lot of research. Obviously, I was looking up and down people's Instagrams that shared their stories. I was on Twitter, I was on YouTube, finding blogs, just really trying to figure out what would happen. Pinterest. And I after going through it, I was like, wow, no one is really honest. No one is honest about how real this shit gets. So for me, it's really important that I share what it was like. I don't think that there's anything anyone could have said to me to talk me out of getting surgery. My body wasn't terrible. I just wanted to look, honestly, I wanted to look how everybody else was looking. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a cute look, and I was like, damn, that should be me. That's my reason. I think it's also pretty deep rooted in my culture. I'm Dominican, so I feel like a lot of other young girls do it, and it's like accepted, and like it's like once you have enough money, why don't you do it? So it's like a thing, right? So, I told my mom, and of course she was like, oh, that's pretty scary, but if you want it, let's do it, right? So it wasn't like, I don't think I remember like any particular person trying to talk me out of it, but I think in general, I remember the consensus being like, oh, you don't need that. Like, you don't need that. But I think even if I would have known the information that I'm about to share with you, I don't think anything could have really talked me out of it because I wanted it that bad. So the days leading up to it, I decided to leave in January of 2021 to Dominican Republic. And I was in Dominican Republic January, February, March, April, and May. When I got there in January, I met a doctor and we consulted. He saw my body. He said, this is what we should do. He gave me a price, and because I had the cash, I just gave it to him in January, even though my surgery wasn't until March. So that whole time, I was kind of just prepping my body, just eating as clean as possible, spending a lot of time in the sun, kind of like just, spending a lot of time alone. I remember the day before my surgery, my mom slept with me, and I could barely sleep. I remember that I had to shower with like a certain soap, and in the morning when I woke up, and then maybe like 5:30, 6 a.m. I was supposed to be at the doctor's office. And I showed up, and I was very scared. I have very thin veins, so when they were trying to put the IV in, they couldn't, so they ended up putting it like on the side of my wrist. So from the beginning, I was like, oh, what's going on? I was kind of like scared. And when they said it was time to go, I kind of remember like, oof, I was like, oof. I don't know, like, not that I don't know that I wanted to do it. I was like, what am I doing? Like, oh my God, this is so freakish. So I remember the doctor came into the room, which is not usual. He usually, you usually meet your surgeon in the OR. And he walked me. He put his hand like, like you do with your girlfriend in the hallway when you're in school. He like put his hand in my hand and he walked with me, and he was like, everything's gonna be okay, trying to be calming. I remember he took pictures of me, And I remember before I laid down, I said, don't forget how I want my hips. So I still had some humor. At this point, he had already put like the markings on me, the marker and everything. And this is when I realized I was going to be awake. Up until then, I didn't know it was going to be an awake surgery. So they had me sit up straight and they put something in my back. I kind of jumped a little bit because I didn't know they were doing it. And they were like, you have to be still. But I was like, I didn't know you were fucking doing it. So whatever. But it was an epidural. And I guess they also gave me like something in my IV to like keep me calm because I was like super calm. But I was awake for all of it. I could feel myself like, right? So as they lipoed me, my stomach first, lipo. I couldn't see. I could hear them though. They were chatting about just regular things. And then they flipped me on my back, lipoed my back, and then did my butt, like filled my butt with the fat. I had 5 stitches in the front, 5 stitches in the back, 2 underneath the boobs, 1 in my belly button, and 2 like right above my like vulvar area. And then the same, I had 2 above my butt cheeks, 1 in the middle of my back, and no, 2 in the middle of my back, and 1 in my butt crack. Welcome in. So I was awake. For all of that. I remember coming out of the operating room, and before they took me out, they put me in the faja, and people were not nice, okay? Because obviously I couldn't really move because I was numb, and they were like, come on, like, we're trying to put you, like, I just remember like it being, but I was like really calm because I was there. I remember everything, but like I was just calm. And then they brought me out on the gurney, and my mom came through these doors, and they were like, look, she's fine. My mom told me she told me afterwards, I was so swollen. And I mean, that's to be expected. Then they put me in like a recovery room, and I felt like I was there for hours. Maybe it was like 3 hours. I was laying on my back, and I couldn't feel anything that whole time, like pain or anything. Obviously I was still anesthetized, so you know, I had a nurse come in a few times, and that ended up being the nurse my mom hired to take care of me. After that room, I couldn't eat while I was there, but after that room, they took me into like a regular hospital room, and my mom was there, and the nurse was there, and also the night nurse. So my mom did like rotating nurses. And so the nurse that was going to be with me for the day, since the day was ending, she was like, I don't know, like switching with the night nurse. And I remember feeling like I had to pee, but I had a catheter in. But I started feeling like I had to pee because I began to feel my body again. So I was a little itchy, like my body was like coming to, and I was just feeling like weird. So the nurse called the doctor. The doctor said, take out her catheter and give her a Benadryl. And she did that. And he also said she needs to ambulate, so she has to walk. I was like, okay, fine. Like I knew my body was coming to, and I expected pain, so I was like, okay, I'm not comfortable, but like, you know, it is what it is. So the nurse helped me get up, and when I stood up, there was so much blood. There was so like flowing, like it just flowed out of me. And my vision left, my hearing left, my heart was beating so fast. And I said, I can't walk. I can't. So I laid back down, and mind you, sitting up and laying back down was the worst. It was the worst, okay? Because I was stitched all over. I was just stabbed inside, in the front, in the back, on the sides. It was just terrible. At this point, when all this blood comes out, my mom loses control and she leaves. She says, I can't watch you like this. I'm leaving. So just a quick pause here. Just to be very open about how I was feeling in that moment. I felt very abandoned. I was very scared. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. So I would have liked for my mom to stay, but my mom has her own traumas, and she couldn't really be there for me in that moment. So I was with strangers. So after I lay down, the Benadryl started kicking in, and I got really, really tired. And I remember, because I was starting to feel everything, I remember scratching underneath my boob and ripping one of my stitches out. So to be honest with you guys, most of my scars look pretty fine. Like they're not that bad. But this one, it kind of like busted and keloided. Is that how you say it? Like it's not good. It's ugly. But that's my fault because I kind of like ripped it. I was just itchy. I was kind of like had anesthesia, kind of feeling it. So that was bad. Around that time when I did that, I remember I vomited. I remember telling the nurse I'm gonna vomit, and I just started vomiting. And it was probably one of the hardest nights of my life. Not just that one, but the one after, and the one after, and the one after. Maybe like the first 9 nights, I really wanted to die. But anyways, I remember the next morning, my father texted me, and my father was like, you should talk to me about things you want to do, because my blood is your blood, and like, you're mine in a way, and like I want to be there for you when things are happening. He was trying to be sweet, but I was like, this is my body. At this point, I didn't know the severity of what was happening, but I could tell my mom had returned. It was early in the morning, and I could tell that she was scared. I was supposed to leave that day. And so I remember she came with my cousin, and I asked my mom if she could just come in, because I didn't want any visitors. Like I wasn't ready for that. I was very swollen. I was in a lot of pain. I was very scared. I remember that my mom, after my mom showed up, my sister showed up. My sister had flown in. So I had paid for my mom, my sister, and my best friend to come in intervals. So my mom was leaving that night. That's why my sister had just showed up. And my sister walked in, and so did my mom. And I could see it on my sister's face that something was wrong. And I could then hear my mom telling the doctor, she's pale. She needs blood. Her lips are white. She is white. And the doctor's like, she's fine. Everything's gonna be okay. And I just was crying so much when I saw my sister's face, because I didn't feel good, and then I knew I wasn't okay when I saw her look at me like that. So my mom comes in with the doctor. The doctor looks at me, and he says to the nurse, I need you to get something. I don't know what it was, but it was iron. I don't know how he said it, but it was iron. So they put me on liquid iron in my IV. To be honest, I needed blood. I was losing there was blood all over me, everything. There was blood. There was just blood. Yeah, my God. So at that point, they put me on the iron. And I believe, since my nurses were coming with me, I stayed on my IV. And I believe at this point it was time for me to get up. I finally had to pee. I don't think I had pee in me. I hadn't had anything to really eat. And finally had to pee. So my mom, there was like this standing toilet, like they brought it to the bed. From getting up to the bed, now the toilet was right next to the bed. From getting up to the bed to getting to the toilet, I lost all vision, all hearing. My heart, the only thing I could hear was my heart in my body. It was literally, I was up for like a second. I didn't have enough blood in my body. And so as soon as I sat down, somebody was also brushing my teeth at this time. It's kind of chaotic. I was crying, and I remember I couldn't hear and I couldn't see, but I was squeezing my mom, and I was telling her, please don't leave. She left that night. But if you ask her if she left, she was gonna say she didn't, but she did. And so I was really scared. I was really, really scared. I got a wheelchair. My mom asked if I could keep the wheelchair. They said no. So my mom was like, okay. And so the objective here was to get me to the car without me passing out, get me out of the car without me passing out, and get me into the bed, into the Airbnb that I rented without passing out. The wheelchair took me to the car. Getting up from the wheelchair, getting in the car, I almost passed out. I just didn't have enough blood to stand up at all. So it didn't matter how long I was going to stand up. I needed to be sitting or laying in order for my body to sustain. I don't know how it works, but for all you medical people out there, it was happening. I was on the verge, right? So when I got in the car, I remember we had medicine. My mom was talking about the medicine that he gave us. It was basically like a form of ibuprofen. My mom had told me that he was not comfortable like giving out, what's it called? Like stronger medicine. Why am I drawing a blank? Pain meds. The strong stuff. So I didn't have any medicine. The strongest thing that I got was every morning my nurse would take a suppository of like a very strong Tylenol, like a 800 milligram, and put it in my butt at the top of the morning. Mind you, I'm gonna get there, but my butt was swollen. My butt was black, purple, red. It was so hard. So those were the only meds that I had. So I literally had to survive it. And I think that's what made it so hard. I think I expected pain, but having no relief from pain for weeks, it was terrible. So anyway, when I went to go get out of the car, there was a parking lot, but they pulled up to the elevators of the first floor. There was like doors. Right behind the doors were elevators, and then the elevator would take me up to the 8th floor, and then I'll have to get out of the elevator and go to this apartment, put the code into the apartment, and run to the bed without passing out. I didn't have a chair. Ghetto. So I remember sitting on the floor in the elevator. Oh no, they got a chair. I think someone went upstairs to the apartment, got a chair, and put it in the elevator. I couldn't stand. And then once we got out of the elevator, somebody went, put the code in, and then I ran to the bed. It didn't take long for me to not be able to hear and see. It was mental. Like in that moment, I was telling myself, I found the bed with my eyes, and I was like, this is it. This is the target. This is the target. Like, don't pass out. Don't pass out. Don't pass out. It was an active mental thing. There was a lot of crying. I remember I cried so much that I lost all the skin on my face. It was raw. So every tear I would shed would burn. I mean, it was extraordinary. I remember telling my sister, like, in my IV, you could put some air and this could be it. I remember there was a balcony. I was saying, like, I want to fucking jump. It was terrible. I couldn't shower. I couldn't poop. My butt was so hard, I couldn't poop. I took Benadryl, multiple Benadryls every night. Every night. I couldn't sleep. There were so many people helping me, so many people around me, so much love. But it's a very individual and lonely thing. It was very, very scary. I think about 4 days into the process, the massages began. I had everything that my mom got was like, they came to me. And she had to like drain a fluid from out of me, but my body was so black. I don't even know how she touched me. Like, I remember her looking at me, like the first day I met her, I was just sobbing. I was like, gosh, this lady's gonna touch me. Like, I'm gonna put a picture on the screen if I can find it. I was black, and I think I'm gonna even have to like censor some things. Like, my body was so swollen and black. It's like, what part of your body is this? It was insane. But she was so kind. She was so kind to me, and she would come and do that. She would make me soup. She would invite me to her house. I mean, we ended up having a great friendship for the next few months, but I really didn't start feeling better until maybe like 7 or 8 days after my surgery. And by better, I mean I'm able to poop, aka I'm able to wipe. It wasn't about pooping, it was just wiping. I couldn't, my butt was, it's just too much. Like, I just couldn't. But I also wasn't eating, so it didn't matter. I think like the nurses would be like, okay, you have to have something, so they'd give me like water. Mind you, I had an IV, so you have to have water, you have to have soup and stuff like that. But the nurses would make me shower every day. In order to shower, I had like a lawn chair in the shower, and my sister would come in and hold all the stuff that I needed and like pass it to me. In the middle of the night, I pee a lot regularly. So like during this process, I pee a lot in the middle of the night, and I would just have to call my sister's name until she woke up. Because no one slept with me. The bed was a queen. The bed was a king size bed. No one could sleep with me in a bed. Okay, I was big. I'm talking about swollen. So my sister would sleep on the couch, and I would call her name till she woke up, and then she would help me get to the bathroom without passing out. I would pee, I would wipe, and then she would help me get to the bed without passing out. And if I wanted to take more Benadryl, she would give it to me. If I needed adjusting, she would give it to me. There was no position to get into. Those fucking pillows they tell you to buy, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. You don't need nothing. The only thing that you really, really need, that I remember it was so helpful, was like I had a lot of different fajas. There's different like faja phases. And if I didn't have like the mats to protect my skin, the faja kind of digs into your skin. So having like those hard boards was really helpful. But oh my God. Oh my God. And the reality of when you look into the mirror for the first time. I remember my best friend flew in, and to be completely transparent, my sister had left like a brownie cake, a special brownie cake. And we had some, and we watched Who Killed Sarah, I think it was called. And I was high, and I had to pee. By this point, by the time my best friend came, I was able to get in the elevator, go downstairs, and meet her downstairs. Like, I was already like, I couldn't wear clothes. I was still like, just with a faja, pussy out, butt out. Like, it was kind of crazy. But I would wear a robe. So I went downstairs, and I got her from downstairs. You know, that was nice. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. Still very black and blue, but so when she was there, we did that. We watched the show, and then I had to pee. And when I went to the bathroom, I just started crying because I saw myself in the mirror. Because I remember specifically telling my mom, I want you to go into the apartment. I want you to take down all the mirrors because I don't want to see myself. I do not want to see what I look like. Because I could see here. I don't want to see it from another perspective. So there was no mirrors. They were gone. And I would avoid it in the bathroom because I couldn't see anyway when I stood up. So by this time, it was my first time looking in the mirror. I was brave enough to do it because I was high. And I started crying. And I remember saying to myself, what did you do? You look like a pad. You look like a fucking Kotex. I was really upset. I was swollen for maybe a year, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. I don't know, a long time. I want to say by October, I was feeling confident in my skin. But for all my girls that suffer with their image and dysmorphia like I have since I was a little girl, it doesn't change that in your head. Nothing is good enough. Like, maybe I liked how I looked for a couple months, and then I was like, what about if well, this doesn't, maybe I should, it's never enough. It's never enough. For a long time, I was in regret, and for a long time, I'd say I never do it again, and now it's a different story, because I'm like, hey, maybe I could, but it's me being silly, because I do, when I sit here and literally work my brain to recall those moments, I barely made it out alive. I really did. My girls, it is dangerous. It is scary. Being awake is an experience I will never forget. My body coming to, I'll never forget. The feeling of you feeling the blood just rush down when you stand up and nothing is awake anymore, but you're still there. You're still in your body. You just you don't have enough to be in the present moment. It's very scary. It's very scary. And like I said at the top of this video, there was nothing that could convince me back then not to do it. So that's not my job to convince you. I just wanted to be the video that you found that told you it's fucking scary. You need to be ready, okay? And find a doctor that you'll be asleep and that will give you some meds, okay? I made a few mistakes, so I hope you caught them. And just be prepared for what's coming. And I would do exactly what I did in regards to support. Do not try to do this alone. I don't know what you could do about the tears. The tears are gonna come. The regret comes and flows when you're wearing certain things. When I remember getting my first job after, I'm just a regular girl. Like, I didn't get surgery to like be like, oh, I'm gonna be a bottle girl, I'm gonna strip. Like, I got surgery because I wanted to look good in my clothes and I want to feel sexy. For me, like, I was single, like, please. When I got my first job and I was like, damn, I gotta bring all this ass with me to work, please, I didn't plan on this, but it'll be you forever. That's you. This is who you are. One thing I would suggest too is, these are all my tips and tricks. Wear your faja until you can't anymore. If you could wear it for 17 years, wear it for 17 years. What can I say? If I would have worn my faja longer, I would have been more conscious of my eating, more conscious of my habits, and more conscious of all the effort that it takes, and kept that in the back of my mind. I think as the years went on, I was just like, I'm cute, but nothing is permanent. You know, fat can be removed, but it can grow back. Not to say that I don't love my body now. I do. And a lot of the things that I was given, like, they can't go away because of the way that they were placed. And there was a little bit of damage that happened to my tissue too, my nerves. Nothing's perfect. He did an amazing job. I'll do my best to find pictures. But if I don't, please know he did an amazing job. He did the best he could. I believe that from my heart, because I'm alive, and I was, from the moment I started loving my body, I never was like, oh, I wish this was different. I was like, okay, this is nice. And maybe you're watching this and you're like, girl, did you like it or did you not? It's a fucked up experience. I really hope that this video gives you an idea of what it's gonna be like if this is where you're headed, or really gives you the information that you need if you were thinking about it. I just want to be honest. I'm not an expert. Well, I guess I am, because I lived this shit. It was very hard. It was very hard. I wish you the best. Be as safe as possible. Prepare your body. You do wake up and you did get hit by a train. Guys, thank you so much for letting me be vulnerable. I know the story's long. I know it's explicit. I know that. But I wish you the best, and I'm really thankful that if you sat through this whole video, I hope you got what you needed. I'm thankful that you were here. And please be sure to like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the video, and please, if you know anybody that is getting ready to go through this or has been through this, please share it with them and let them know that this is good stuff. It's good stuff to know. I'm grateful for you all. Thanks for making time for Thug Baby.